Hey voters! In my last video, I highlighted 4 big issues in the way New York State legislature governs. In this video, I'll discuss why these items were problematic, if things have improved as of September in the year of Satan 2020, and what we the people still need to advocate for to keep our New York State legislature transparent and effective. Let's start with problem 1, member items. What's a member item, you ask? Pork. Or for my vegan, kosher, and Muslim listeners, money. Member items were essentially used as carrots by the leadership to get members to vote on a certain way on legislation. Did this work, you ask? Well, 100% of the bills that the leadership allowed to reach the floor of either chamber for a vote passed with almost no debate from 2006 to 2008. So yeah, it worked. Do member items still exist? Is this still even an issue? Well, it kind of depends on who you ask. New York has a state and municipal facilities program to distribute funding for projects in individual districts. A political investigation found this funding is not distributed equally, with the party in the majority receiving a lot more money. When Governor Cuomo was pressed on this, he responded, "That's why it's called being in the majority." If you care about this issue, here's your action item. Check out seethroughnewyork.net. Moving on to problem number 2, no cap in outside income. Serving on the New York State legislature has always been considered a part-time job. I guess we were just way ahead of the curve on this whole gig economy thing. Because of this, legislators have always been allowed to keep outside jobs and earn outside income. However, this posed a problem for conflicts of interest. Sheldon Silver, former Assembly Speaker, is a prime example of this. Because he was allowed to remain on the payroll of 2 law firms, he used his influence to steer business to those law firms and then receive kickbacks in the sum of about $4 million. Is this still a problem? Yes. However, I have good news. Progress has been made. Members were given a gradual raise from $79,500 to $110,000 by the year 2021. Starting next year, they will only be allowed to earn 15% of their salary in outside income. Now, I know what you're thinking, $110,000 for a part-time gig? That's less than what I earned driving for Uber. Now, if you think government work should be considered a full-time job and there should be no outside income allowed, check out Common Cause New York. On to problem 3, unchecked power of the leadership. Now, majority leaders still maintain a stranglehold on what bills reach the floor of the Senate and the Assembly. Essentially, if Speaker Heastie or Majority Leader Stewart Cousins don't think your bill will pass, they'll Dikembe Mutombo it.
That's a 5th floor problem.
Okay. Not in my house.
If you care about this problem, here's your action item. Support Bill A05667. This legislation requires that each assembly member and senator be allowed to have a minimum of 5 pieces of legislation brought to the floor for an up or down vote each calendar year. Problem 4, 3 men in a room. So 3 men in a room refers to a closed-door meetings that take place between the governor, Speaker of the Assembly, and the Senate Majority Leader. This has been happening for nearly 75 years. Particularly, it's referenced when finalizing New York State's budget, which is over $150 billion. Is this a problem? Yes. But now it's 2 men and 1 woman, as Andrea Stewart Cousins becomes the first woman to lead a majority conference in the state legislature. You go, girl. And while it's great to see a woman and 2 people of color in the 3 most powerful offices in our state, it becomes 3 people in a room, still making major decisions in an essential vacuum. It feels kind of like the expansion of competitive eating for all genders and races. It's equal, but it's still gross. 3 people in a room poses a particular problem now, as New York has a Democratic state government trifecta. Just to avoid any confusion, a trifecta is not what you have when you're trying to spice up your marriage. A trifecta exists when one political party simultaneously holds the governor's office and majorities in both the Assembly and the state Senate. In the United States currently, as of August 2020, there are 22 Republican trifectas, 14 Democratic trifectas, and 14 states where there are divided governments. So, for New York, this means that no Republican politician was physically present during the 2020 budget negotiations, as minority leaders were not allowed in the room. Sorry, there's no seat there for you. This also means there were no representatives from regions outside of New York City. If you think the governor is from Albany, just imagine him saying the phrase coffee water and you'll get your true answer. So, what are our overall action items to be a good citizen? Firstly, know your state senator and your assembly member. Now you can make this more fun by picking out your favorite photos. Leave me a comment with your favorites down below. I think my top two currently are Joe DiStefano, who looks like he's 2 full moons away from becoming Nosferatu, and Charles Barron, who looked like he posed for this shot after beating some legislative ass. Secondly, follow a few nonpartisan groups like Common Cause New York and See Through New York. They do an excellent job of trying to make sure that our New York State government is more transparent and more fair. Folks, thanks so much for watching. If you learned something today or laughed a little, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Feel free to comment your ideas for other topics that you would like to see covered in the realm of New York below. Thanks, and I hope to see you soon.